What's up fellas, this is Ikari and I'm on the 9th retro market here in Völklingen. Where the fuck is Völklingen? Well, in Germany I would say. For those who don't know, I live in Germany. It's also the first time I'm visiting this retro market and I have to say it is quite nice. I didn't expect there to be that many people because it is quite a small city indeed. But still, it's a great place to buy retro related stuff or sell if you're into this kind of thing. But I guess I am more into buying. Yeah, that sounds kind of strange.
Despite being a somewhat small event, it had everything to offer you would expect to find on such occasion. Games, toys, figurines, trading cards. Also, despite the name, it was not limited to retro stuff at all. There were also things related to the newest events, like for example the Black Adam movie, which aired not so long time ago. A lot of people also showed up in costumes, and some of them were indeed quite professional. I met the Ghostbusters, for example, and I have to say, those guys were really pro in what they're doing. No ghost showed up to disturb the event. Those two, for example, were absolutely killing it. I mean, seriously, just look at them. Why couldn't this happen in the movie? But, unfortunately, there was also something like this. Yes, there they are. I mean, I'm just kidding, of course. Everybody should be able to do and wear whatever the fuck they want. I just think it must have been pretty damn hot in those costumes, so I actually feel bad for those people. One of the coolest costumes I saw was definitely that nurse from Silent Hill. The first time I saw her, she was standing absolutely motionless in a lane, and I thought at first it was a prop, kinda like that thing here, whatever this is supposed to be. But then she started moving and I was like, oh my god, it's alive! But the price for the most impressive costume, that is an imaginary price of course, but that imaginary price I definitely give to this guy wearing a low-key maid outfit. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, the main attraction of this were of course obviously games, all kinds of games, retro games, modern games, gaming devices, gaming accessories and all this. And yes, there was something I would have just absolutely loved to buy. Final Fantasy 8 and 9 in an absolute mint condition, sealed in protective cases, and even the English version of it. But of course the price was not that low, not that high also, but you know, when I went to this place, I went there with an absolute steadfast resolve and determination to not spend any money at all. Because seriously, I hate to address this in this kind of video which is made for entertainment, but the current financial situation is just absolute shit. The inflation is real, and lately I have even found myself saving money on food and this kind of stuff. It's really ridiculous, but I guess we just have to make it through this somehow. So this is why I didn't want to buy absolutely anything on this event. And the guy who was selling them was actually quite charismatic and persuasive. He wanted 50 for one and 60 for the other one, I don't remember which one exactly, but I even told him, dude, I don't even have this kind of money on me. I would have loved to buy it, but I just couldn't do it. This nice fella even gave me a sort of a consolation prize, this little 3D printed keychain thingy, which is quite a nice gesture, I would say. There was of course some more creative stuff as well, things like manga artists for example promoting their art, drawings, or also some 3D stuff like accessories, rings, you know, jewelry in general, this kind of things. Or there were also some really cool looking props and decorations, like from different horror movies and series, like for example those machetes were actually quite cool looking. It's a really nice way to decorate your home if you are into this kind of stuff. I am personally not that huge of a horror fan. What I found most impressive, however, are those statues here, because they are actually also 3D printed. I thought they were made of resin at first. The amount of detail on those is really quite high. This must have been a high-end 3D printer, I guess. Just look at those busts from The Boys. This is a show I really love, by the way. Look at Homelander, he looks absolutely batshit insane, which is quite fitting of course. And this Venom head here, 250 euros. Yeah, that's quite an expensive decoration, I would say. Fortunately, not something I need in my home anyway. Or, of course, if you want a somewhat bigger decoration, you can of course get this full-size Sailor Moon figure. Yeah, 850 euros. Jesus Christ, those eyes. This is true horror, friends. I mean, for a price that high, this thing better be, you know, fully functional. I cannot tell you just how fuckable it is because I didn't have time to try it out. That B2 cosplay over there, by the way, that looks totally fuckable. Unfortunately, she already had a boyfriend. There were also a couple of tournaments going on from what I saw, like for example this Mario Kart tournament. I'm not even sure if you could win something there or not. Well, that's not really my thing, so I didn't even bother. There were also a couple of other games you could play, mostly retro stuff, like Driver and whatnot. I didn't really stop at this part. I was looking more at all the stuff you could actually buy, because seriously, I have to say, a lot of stuff just made the money in my pockets burn, like literally I couldn't even deal with it anymore. But fortunately, I really made up my mind not to buy anything, and I was holding onto that resolve until the very end. And I did manage to hold it together and not buy anything at all. At least until I saw this. Sanosuke from Rurouni Kenshin, also known as Samurai X. This was actually the first manga I ever purchased, and also one of the few mangas I have a full collection of. And that very figurine was actually the last one I was missing. Well, let's say the last one of those I actually wanted to have. And let me tell you, it's rare as hell. I've been looking for it for quite a while, and at some point I literally gave up. To be able to find it in such a prime condition, with the sword and everything, and for only 15 euros, actually I couldn't be happier. I mean seriously, this figurine just looks absolutely badass, hands down, with that huge ass sword which would give even Cloud and Guts a run for their money, which fused for like 5 minutes until Kenshin cut it in two. Well yeah, this is why it's fixed in the middle, but yeah, the sword actually makes a very little appearance in the manga. And also a somewhat interesting fact, this very guy here had somewhat of an influence for my actual name, because he wears the kanji for wrath, for Ikari, on his back. Yes, he was not my favorite character from this manga, but I kinda like this kanji, and yeah, this was one of the reasons I chose this name. Yeah, you could say this is my origin story. Well, but anyway, jokes aside. I know this event might seem very small and nothing special if you have been to something bigger like a Comic-Con or whatever, like Gamescom or E3. There are a lot of those big badass events, but personally I have never been to anything as big as that, so... But I think at the end of the day it was still quite cool, and I mean I got something nice from it, so it was definitely worth it. So to sum it all up, I guess I have only one thing to say, and that would be thank you all for watching, and see you around.